Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh and this is your stimulus check update for Sunday, June 21st. I hope everyone is having a great weekend so far. In this video, we are going to be discussing the first and second stimulus checks in addition to the new infrastructure bill. I'll also be touching base on the $4,000 Exploreamerica Tax Credit, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly giving this video a like, giving me a big thumbs up. It really just helps push this video out to other viewers like you. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you don't mind, leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know whether or not you received your first stimulus payment yet or not. And yes, believe it or not, unfortunately, there are still millions of people who haven't even received their first stimulus payment yet. So in the comment section below, let me know if you received your first stimulus payment, let me know if you haven't received your first stimulus payment, and then also let me know if you have a pending direct deposit date. And if you haven't yet checked the payment portal today, I would strongly recommend doing so. You may have a pending date for June 24th that is speculated to be the next direct deposit date. Alright, so I'm going to start this video out by talking about the first round of stimulus checks. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Are there still people that haven't received their first stimulus payments? And yes, unfortunately, there are still millions of people that have not even received their first stimulus payments. Now, I do have some excellent news to bring to you guys that haven't yet received your first stimulus payments. It has been confirmed by many people in the comment section that the next round will be going out next Wednesday, June 24th. So if you haven't yet checked the payment portal, I would strongly encourage you to do so. You may also have a direct deposit date of June 24th as well. Now, if you go in to check the payment portal and you're still getting payment status not available and you're not receiving a June 24th payment date, no worries, this will not be the last payment date. They're going to continue sending out these checks in forms of direct deposits every single week, and they're also going to be sending out checks in the mail every single week. So if you don't receive it on the 24th, no worries, they're going to continue sending out checks every single week, so you definitely will eventually receive yours. And remember, you are definitely eligible for a stimulus payment as long as you're not being claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns, and as long as you don't have something like past due child support that could potentially offset your stimulus payment. So in the meantime, try not to get too frustrated, try not to drive yourself too crazy. Hang in there, you definitely will receive your payment. Okay, moving right along to the second stimulus check. The first thing that I do want to mention today is that you can definitely make a difference here. By calling the number up on the screen right now, which is 202-224-3121, you can actually speak to your state senators and let them know what receiving an additional stimulus payment would mean to you. Remember, we as US citizens have the power here. We can elect people in power, and then we can elect people out of power. So let your voice be heard here. Let your senators know what receiving an additional stimulus payment would mean to you. Okay, so like I did mention before, the likelihood of receiving a second stimulus payment is about as close to 100% as we possibly can get. And while nothing at this point is 100% set in stone or guaranteed, it is something at least at this point that is very bipartisan. Nancy Pelosi wants additional stimulus payments. Donald Trump wants additional stimulus payments. And even Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin wants additional stimulus payments. So as you can see, everyone is definitely on board here. And this, once again, should just be a one-time payment, not an ongoing month-by-month deal. And really, the only disagreement we may have at this point is whether or not dependents will be eligible for stimulus payments. In the HEROES Act, dependents were eligible for stimulus payments, and they were going to receive an additional $1,200 per dependent, up to 3 dependents. So if you had a married couple and they had 3 children, even if they were over the age of 17, even those dependents would receive stimulus payments of $1,200. So in that case, that family would receive $6,000. Now, obviously, Mitch McConnell and the Senate were completely opposed to the HEROES Act. The $3 trillion price tag was just way too high for him, but in my opinion, we should probably see something closer to the $2 trillion range, which is actually a number that Donald Trump proposed himself. Now, as far as the timing goes for receiving the second stimulus payments, we're still looking at late August or early September at earliest. This is because the Senate doesn't even plan on touching the next stimulus bill until they get back from their 2-week recess vacation in late July, which means that even if they do come up with a bipartisan stimulus bill agreement, the earliest that would pass would be sometime in early August, which unfortunately also means the earliest we could expect any type of stimulus payments would be sometime in late August or early September. Now, with that said, we can really only hope that the next round of stimulus payments go out much quicker. At the very least, we shouldn't have millions of people waiting several months just to receive a simple direct deposit. Now that the IRS has all of our information, they should theoretically just be able to click a button and just shoot out all the payments one by one and have all of us paid in just one day. But of course, knowing the government, the second round of stimulus payments will probably also have its hiccups, so it's really hard to say for sure. All right, so I wanted to real quickly talk about a new bill that's being proposed. Now, even though this new bill is completely unrelated to additional stimulus payments, I thought this new bill could be of interest to some people. This new bill is called the Moving Forward Act, and it has recently been introduced in the House. Now, this new bill calls for a whopping $1.5 trillion of infrastructure spending. And of course, if you're interested, here's the breakdown. So, $500 billion would be for the Transportation Committee, $100 billion is going to be for low-income schools, $100 billion in funding for public housing, $100 billion for broadband, $70 billion for clean energy projects, $25 billion for drinking water, and finally, $25 billion for the Postal Service. Now, Republicans on the committee complained that they were not involved in crafting the bill, and they also criticized the environmental measures being included in the bill, calling it the Green New Deal 2.0. Missouri Republican Representative Sam Graves stated, quote, "This will leave rural America even further behind, and numerous new green mandates and extreme progressive goals are woven throughout." To which the Democrats responded, "Those who do not believe in climate change, tough luck." I feel like in a way, Congress is almost like high school all over again. Except instead of having teenagers pick fights over every little issue and be as disagreeable as possible, instead, in their place, we have grown adults doing the exact same thing. Politics, aren't they just so much fun? I guess there's a good reason that it's not suggested to talk about politics at family gatherings. Anyway, so while infrastructure improvements are mostly bipartisan, the main disagreement is whether or not to devote a large amount of the funds towards going green. Either way, being that there is a large amount of support on both sides for an infrastructure bill, this bill should go forward and eventually become a law. And at this point, the only debate I can really see there being is over the price tag. And the Democrats' price tag at this point is $1.5 trillion, which isn't really too far off from Donald Trump's $1 trillion suggestion. I mean, that's only like $500 billion. That's practically pocket change. And again, this bill would be completely separate from any additional stimulus payments that we would receive. Okay, so let's move on to some news about the Exploreamerica Tax Credit. Once again, this is the proposal where we would all get paid in the form of a tax credit for vacationing throughout the US. And while, yeah, most of us probably won't have the money to go on vacation during or after a pandemic, it is probably something that we should be thinking about now. So anytime that you do spend any of your money on any type of entertainment sector, I would strongly recommend that you take a photo of your receipt just for a proof of purchase. If you go to a restaurant, take a photo of your receipt. Even if you get some gas, take a photo of your receipt. Any little thing that you do as far as traveling or entertainment goes, I would encourage you to take a photo of the receipt just for proof of purchase. It's possible that you may be able to write off 50% of those expenses if this bill does go through. It's better to be prepared just in case. Trust me, it'll make your life so much easier in the long run. And while personally I'd rather the government just send us additional stimulus money instead of this Exploreamerica tax credit, unfortunately, that's not really my choice, so I guess we'll just have to deal with the hand that we're dealt. Alright, so at this point, I just wanted to wrap up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video, and if you have any other comments or questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to answer as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can. So the first comment of today's video comes from Pat. Pat says, will retired people being claimed as dependents qualify for the second stimulus payment? All right, Pat, thank you so much for that comment. And unfortunately, since a second stimulus bill hasn't officially passed, we're not able to say for sure whether dependents over the age of 17 will be eligible for a stimulus payment. The HEROES Act, which passed in the House of Representatives on May 15th, would have included that group, but there's going to be a whole new bill written up. So the HEROES Act is not going to pass. So we'll just have to wait and see whether dependents over the age of 17 will be eligible for additional stimulus payments. All right, so the next question today is from Julia. Julia says, are those people with past due child support eligible for the second round of stimulus? All right, thank you so much for that question, Julia. And unfortunately, kind of like the last question, it's hard to say for sure. It's going to be a completely different bill that's written up. Now, in the CARES Act, those with past due child support were not eligible for stimulus payments. It's my speculation it's probably going to be the same thing whenever the next bill passes. Again, nothing has actually passed, and it's only my speculation, but it's probably going to be fairly similar to the CARES Act. So if it's going to be the same thing as the CARES Act, then my guess is that you're probably not going to be eligible if you do have past due child support. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Once again, if you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great way to support me. And until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.